Back in November, college quarterback Caleb Williams of the USC Trojans, who was also supposed to be heading to the NFL draft this year, was seen crying in his mother's arms after his team lost to Washington on a Saturday night. My plan was to talk about this back in November, but life gets in the way and I wasn't able to do it like I wanted to back in November. But I'm doing it anyways to give my thoughts about this. She puts a paper over his head so he would not be seen crying, I guess. But some people had a problem and made fun of him for crying. You had some people that were probably saying, oh, he needs to toughen up, be a man, he's soft, he's a pussy. Some thought that he should have waited until he got to the locker room, especially when the cameras were on him, which I get. I mean, he's crying, so what? Turn your ass somewhere else, not on Caleb. The camera shouldn't have been on him just because he was crying. And yeah, he could have gone to the locker room, but maybe he had a moment where he told his mom he was okay, but then there was that moment when he all of a sudden just broke down and cried. It can happen. Some people may think about going to the locker room and cry, but then all of a sudden they have that moment where it just doesn't happen. They just break down when not going to the locker room. It just happens. Former NFL linebacker LeVar Arrington, who played with the Washington Redskins, now the Washington Commanders, and the New York Giants, he thought it was soft and weak for Caleb to cry into his mother's arms on camera, in his opinion, especially when it comes to him being born in a military family. Well, everyone is not born in a military family, so it is what it is. Then some people really got on him when he told reporters after the game that he wanted to be at home while cuddling with his dog and watching shows. Now, I know some people were really like, oh my God, this guy is truly a pussy. No way girls are checking him out. No way he has a girlfriend. Well, for your information, he does. This is his girlfriend, Valerie. So you fools should be stupid now for assuming that he couldn't get a girlfriend. So because this man cried in his mother's arms and said that he wanted to go home, cuddle with his dog, and watch shows, you're assuming that no girl wants to be with him because of that? And that he didn't have a girlfriend? That's ridiculous. Apparently, society tends to think that men are supposed to toughen up. They're supposed to be strong, and apparently men have to feel macho, and we can't let people see us cry and whatnot because it comes off as weak. We got to be seen as strong, especially when it comes to black men. But men in general, they're supposed to be seen as strong. And if you let out any type of emotions, especially when crying, well, people are going to judge you for it. They're going to think you're weak and soft. That shouldn't be the case. Look, we're all human beings. There's nothing wrong with men and women crying, okay? We're humans. Okay, we're not robots, so men should be allowed to cry too. And besides, I'm sure there are plenty of women who I'm sure wouldn't have a problem with men crying. And I'm sure there's some women that think it's cute and think it's a turn on for a real man to let out his feelings and cry, let out his emotions. I don't think women want men to always be macho and, not express their emotions, when not crying at all. I thought it was wrong for people to be hard on Caleb Williams, okay? Besides, I'm sure his girlfriend obviously doesn't mind that he cries, especially if he's crying in the arms of his mother. I'm sure his girlfriend loves him for who he is and has no problem with that. And I'm sure his mother doesn't mind him crying either. So there. There are some people that have gotten on him because apparently he likes to paint his fingernails. So now they're probably thinking he's not a real man for painting his own fingernails. Like, what man paints their fingernails? Who does that? And they probably thinking he's, a homosexual because he paints his fingernails. I'm like, how is he a homosexual when he has a girlfriend? Unless he's into the same gender as he is, he's not homosexual. But you want to say he's homosexual because he paints his fingernails? What? That's ridiculous. Caleb explained why he paints his fingernails, as it is a way of him representing his mother. And he says his mom has worked as a nail technician for his entire life, and she likes to be a trendsetter. Hopefully, there are some women out there that don't mind a guy like Caleb Williams painting his fingernails. So you guys tell me your thoughts on people making fun of Caleb Williams because he was crying into the arms of his mother. And women, what do you think about men like Caleb Williams that cry, especially crying into the arms of their mother? Are you fine with men crying? Do you think men obviously should let their emotions out instead of always trying to be all macho because society says so? And do you think it's cute and a turn on for a real man like Caleb Williams to cry? That's all I have to say. See you later.